Today on Doctor Who. As Matt Smith's storylines come to a close, there is one question that everyone is asking. What is the oldest question in the universe? The 11th Doctor takes Clara on one last adventure together based on the question and several plotlines surrounding the 11th Doctor's tenure. As the bell tolls, and the Doctor finds himself on Trenzalore once again, what will the Doctor do as he saves the town inside the planet called Christmas? Find out when you watch it.
Alrighty, Doctor Who, Time of the Doctor, Matt Smith's final appearance. Wait a second, that is way too soon. Way too soon. I gotta fix this. Wait, hang on. Alright, hold on. Oh, damn it. Yeah. Good enough, I guess. Stopped it for a little bit. On to the review. We have reached the point where we have had a lot of history for the Doctor and what he has been going through thus far. And considering that from Matt Smith to now, it has actually been essentially a reboot of the franchise, though it still continues on, because this is Matt Smith's final appearance as the Doctor, because the idea behind everything that had been going on with him has to come to a close. It's now a matter resolving these plot lines. What are the cracks? What were they originally? What's the oldest question in the universe? What's going on with the Doctor himself and everything that has been going on with the silence and all this stuff? How is it all connected? And this episode answers that. But I'll tell you one thing, it isn't by a great stretch of the imagination. Stephen Moffat, who wrote this episode, and various many others throughout the run, has really put a lot of imagination into it. But he does not always bring you along for the ride, because so much has happened from Day of the Doctor to Time of the Doctor. Elements get thrown into the mix that you're like, wait, when was that? Alright, whatever. Like, there's this character Handles that the Doctor has. You don't know anything about it, but you just have to kind of go along with the ride. It's not that important, but you would have liked to know where was that coming from in the first place. The Doctor finds himself along with many different other species that he's gone up against, and they're following this message that is going on across the universe. Time and space included. Doctor finds himself there, he's trying to find out, and it smacks him in Trenzalore, which he didn't know at the time. He is in a town called Christmas, along with Clara. Now, there is the plot for you. He's trying to save this town called Christmas. Why? Well, he finds out something, and I'm not going to spoil what he finds out. This is where everything comes into motion. This is where everything becomes the biggest storyline that has ever been resolved in the history of Doctor Who. There's not a lot you can latch onto right away, not without either a second viewing or not without kind of having to go along with the ride. How things go down in this episode keeps going, and they either tell it quickly in exposition with a lot of good heart and emotion to it, so it's not totally like, and then this happened, and then this happened. Helps with the story when they say, oh, and by the way, while you were gone, my church over here decided to split away and rebel up against you in your own timeline. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. But it's still a hit to the head, because there is so much information. So it begs the question, is this an emotional send-off like David Tennant's, End of Time? Is it that emotional? Not necessarily. It's not like, oh my god, I'm crying and I just can't handle myself. Not like the powerhouse of David Tennant. This one is Matt Smith more intellectually. You see where he was coming from this entire time, without trying to pull at your heartstrings so badly that you're like, you know what, nah. And this goes without saying that the plot of this episode in general isn't exactly the easiest to review. Yes, I have some gripes. Sometimes some things go a little too fast. They kept playing around with Clara's character way too many times. What are you doing? And then, like, the Doctor, he has his reasons for staying in the town, which, of course, I can't spoil, but there's like, that's right, I gotta keep thinking past this, like, okay, back in Season 5 this happened, back in Season 6 this happened, and it's all led up to this. Wow. So in the end, it's a really good episode to kind of say, alright, this is what has happened, and this is what it's resulting into. They match. It makes sense, but not without a few plot holes that you might find yourself whenever you watch it. But overall, I gotta say, I had a fun time with it. In its second viewing. First time I was like, I gotta rewatch that, that's a little much. As it stands, I didn't give a rating for Day of the Doctor, so I'm gonna give my ratings as they follow. Overall, I would definitely say Day of the Doctor gets an A. As for Time of the Doctor has a lot of more resolved plot lines, things that happen. It's actually fairly a simple plot line, but it's surrounded by plot threads that are complicated into itself. So I would definitely say not one you can pick up by yourself again, but it's still watchable if you know what's going on. So I would give Time of the Doctor a B+. Believe it or not, I actually did review Peter Capaldi's first season and season 8 a long time ago. And to be honest, I actually have been thinking, why not let you guys watch it? So the links are down below if you care to watch it. I'm not going to re-review it because I've already talked about it. This weekend coming up is what I've been setting up for in the first place. The premiere of Series 9. Saturday night, hopefully you'll be seeing a review from me for the first episode. Thank you guys for all who had watched. I really deeply appreciate those who have. And I'm going to be moving on to greener pastures. As soon as the premiere date of Series 9 comes up, I'm going to be moving on. I think it may be time to finally get out of this attire. And this time, I'm not going to complain. Here we go. Ow. I saved face for having to hit hard on the floor. That's why I went over here. I'm wearing white. That sums everything up for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time.